Okay, a big welcome back to session 3 of your Kettlebell starter pack. I'm really pleased you're here with me. We are going to focus today on some pressing variations, and we're just going to consolidate everything that we've learned, and we're going to put it together into a really fun and challenging workout. So let's get started with our warm-up, and then I will take you through the main session where we're going to be working through some supersets today, so repeating movements in 2 rounds. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to turn up the heat in our warm-up a little bit today. So let's get started with some pogos. Have your feet right underneath your hips. You can put your hands on your waist, and we are going to bounce for around 20 seconds or so. So try to keep your legs nice and stiff in this movement, and you're just bouncing off the balls of your feet, trying to keep nice and upright and super springy. Great stuff. We're just going to be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. That's a really good way just to warm up our feet and our ankles really quickly. So we're going to go into our inchworm deadlifts. We did this on our last session, and I'm going to show you a little bit of a variation that we can take with this as well. So remember, this is an opportunity to practice your deadlift, but we're going to walk out to a plank first, come back to the bell and lift it in that deadlift. So let's come into our squat. Make sure you've got this nice space out in front of you. Maybe a little pause in that squat is nice just before you pop your hands down and come into that nice, secure high plank. Then we're going to walk our hands back to the bell, remembering we want to get right on top of the bell with our chest high before we push the floor away and take that deadlift. So you can continue doing this, or if you want to, the next time you come back to the bell, you can actually add a jump to that deadlift and leave the floor. If you want to watch me, you can do now. So I'm just going to load that deadlift with a little spring, and then I'm going to go back to my plank. So that's completely optional, but it's quite a nice way of getting our whole body warmed up really, really quickly for the session that lies ahead. So take any variation you like. You can continue with those deadlifts, or you can add that extra challenge of that spring as you meet the bell. We're going to do one more here, so make this your last rep, and then when you're ready you can just set that bell down. Your legs should be quite alive by now. We are going to take some overhead marches, so grab a light to moderate bell. We're going to get the bell into that rack position that we learnt on session 2. We're going to put the bell overhead and do some marching in that position. So grab the bell, bring it right underneath you. We're going to do that assisted clean, so you're going to thread your right hand through the bell handle, take the left hand underneath it and lift it up into position. You're going to bring your feet underneath your hips and stand nice and tall and strong with your legs. We are going to bend our knees and press this bell overhead. You can keep it in the rack if you prefer. In this position, we're looking for our knuckles to be facing the ceiling and the arm to be really locked out and by your ear. You're going to stack your joints, and we're going to go into that nice, easy march. Really working to keep nice and strong, pressing the bell overhead. And we can even add an extra challenge here where you try to hold that leg up for a few more seconds each time. We are going to rest in 3, 2, 1. Bell comes right back into the rack position. Remember, we want our thumb on that collarbone. We're going to put the hand on top of the bell and bring it back down to the floor. Let's do the other side. So thread that left hand through the bell, put the other hand underneath, come right down with the bell to bring it up into position. Okay, let's go on the other side. So we bend our knees, press, secure the bell first before we think about going into that opposite side march. Good stuff. So we're going to do some pressing variations today. So it's really good just to get a sense of how this bell feels for you overhead. We're going to be looking at strict presses, and then we're going to add in some push presses too, which is another little ballistic move that we can add on to our training. Let's bring the bell down, bring it back down to the floor, nice and safely, and we're going to finish this warm up with a little side plank. So move your bell out of the way, come down onto the floor into a side position. So what we're looking for here, now I'm going to show you the variation on your knees first. You want your elbow to be underneath your shoulder and your hand to be pointing out in front of you. So we're really getting good stability there, so that when we push our hips away, and we've got a nice straight line here between my shoulders, hips and knees, we are in a nice side plank position. Now, if that's too easy for you, you can take your feet away and find that nice high plank with that big space underneath you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get ready and we're going to work for 30 seconds on this side and 30 seconds on the other side. Do your very best. So 3, 2, and 1. So I've got my feet one in front of the other, which helps. You want to create this space underneath you. Now, lifting your arm and looking at your fingertips is an extra little challenge. So see if you can do that. If you need to come down at any point and come back to this, that's absolutely fine. And if you want to tuck your knees under, then you can take that variation as well. If this is a little bit too challenging, and it is pretty tough. So well done if you're still here with me. We are going to rest in 3, 2, 1. And of course, we need to do the other side. So come across and find a good stable position to go into the other side. Really get that elbow underneath that shoulder, that hand spread out so that will help to support you. Okay, let's get up in 3, 2, 1. Push those hips away from the floor. Bring your shoulders nice and square. See if you can look up at those fingertips. See if you can hold it. Doing core activation work during our warm-up is really, really good idea. It just sets us up for the session ahead and makes sure that our whole body is ready for what we've got to do. Really good. We're going to be here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's a really good job. Well done. Okay, let's make our way up to our feet. And that completes our warm-up. We're going to get ready now for our main session. Okay, in our main session today, we are going to be looking at strict press and push press variations. So you're going to be taking a single bell and pressing it overhead for up to 5 reps on each side. We're going to mix the press in with some goblet cleans. So we're getting really good at this. This is the movement where we lift the bell quickly off the floor and back into a hover. So we're going to do our presses first, then we're going to hit a quick set of goblet cleans before taking some recovery and then going into our push press for our second round. So grab your kettlebell, have it underneath you. We are going to bring the belt up into the rack position on the right hand side, and I'm going to walk you through the strict press. So bring that belt up into position and get your feet underneath your hips. You really want to think about creating lots of tension in your lower body here to be able to press the weight. So grab a fist on the other side, rack position is on, and then you're going to press the bell above your head, keeping nice and straight and strong. Knuckles are facing the ceiling at the top and my arm is nice and locked out. I'm going to take care as I bring the bell back into position. Okay, really important that we don't just let the bell drop down into the rack. We're going to take another 4 reps here. So 5 in total, really taking care on that down phase and coming back into the rack every single time. So thumb on the collarbone, pressing away and bringing it back down. Now, if 5 is too many, do as many as you can. If you get to the point where you really can't do any more, then that's a really good indication that you're working with a weight that is challenging for you, which is kind of where we want to be. So take your final rep here, bring it back down to the rack, and then bring it down to the floor. Have a little shake out. We're going to do the same on the other side. Now, you will definitely have one side that's stronger than the other, okay? So it's like in most things in life, you will have one side that is better at most things than the other, and it's not any different in kettlebell training. So don't worry if you went for your dominant side on that side and then this side is a little bit weaker. It's absolutely normal. So let's bring the bell up onto the other side this time. Bring those feet underneath you and then drive up for this strict press. Now, it's called strict because we're really not getting any help from our lower body here. We're going to try a push press variation in the second round where you're going to get a little bit more of a ballistic challenge and you get some help from your lower body to drive the bell up. But here we are taking the most challenging press variation first, and just seeing where we're at with the bell that we've got available to us. So bring the bell back down, take those 5 reps, and then bring the bell back down to the floor. We're going to hit these goblet cleans pretty quickly now. So get set up for those. Bring the bell underneath your body, and I want you to try and hit up to 10 goblet cleans, working really, really fast. So you're going to bring the bell up and drop it down into that little hover position if you can, 10 times. 3, 2, 1. Really think about being fast in the up phase and letting the bell drop in the down phase. I want you to see if you can catch it at the bottom before it gets there. So it's a bit of a race is on. As the bell drops, you need to come down and drop 2 to catch it at the bottom. That fast transition with your hands from the handle to the horns is getting a little bit easier, hopefully, as we've done lots of reps of this now. So well done. Start finishing up your reps here, and we will take a nice little bit of recovery before we go into round 2. I'm going to show you the push press quickly, and then we're going to have a go together. Again, we're going to take 5 reps of this. This is the ballistic version of the strict press. So it's a similar movement. I'll show you a few reps, and this one is a bit more of a timing and coordination challenge more than anything. So you'll have your feet in the same position. The rack position is exactly the same. This time, instead of keeping your legs strong, you would bend and then drive the bell up with a punch. You secure the bell overhead. Now this time, as the bell comes down to the rack, you soften your knees and catch it, okay? And then you bend and you punch again, soft knees to catch it. And I literally like to catch it with my other hand. Okay, so let's get ready for those push presses. You're going to take 5 on the right, and we're going to go straight into do 5 on the other side. This is going to get your heart rate up a little bit. So let's come down, get the bell into position, find your good feet position underneath your hips, ready to bend. Let's do it together. Bend, punch, secure the bell overhead. Now as the bell drops, soft knees to catch it, then straighten up again. Okay, let's go again. Bend and punch. Nice, strong underneath the bell, soft knees. Great, let's hit a few more. And this is really about creating upwards energy, right? So powerful in that punch, soft knees to set the bell back down. It's even okay if your heels pop off the ground a little bit, because it means you're creating lots and lots of good energy in that upward punch. So bring the bell back down to the floor, go straight into the other side if you can, take some recovery if you need it. So up onto the left-hand side, and you can change the rep counts if you need to. So if 5 is too many, reduce it down, do what you can, just use it as an opportunity to just practice. So here we are in the rack, we're going to bend and punch. Nice straight arm next to my ear, knuckles are facing the ceiling. Soft knees as the bell comes down into position. Drive up, soft knees to catch. Great stuff. Keep working through the last few reps, and then we're going to hit that final set of goblet cleans to finish this first superset. Final one here for me. Strong legs. Don't forget about your lower body, and bringing that bell down to the floor. Take your final set of goblet cleans. Again, if you've got more bells available to you, you might be now feeling like you can go up a little bit in weight. Okay, but if you've only got the one bell, just work on the technique and getting nice and fast with the movement. So 10 reps, ready to go. 3, 2, and 1. This posture at the top is really important as well. So we don't want to hyperextend. We don't want to start to lean backwards. And what will help you in that is if you squeeze your glutes and quads at the top and really squeeze, push into the floor with your feet. Okay, so the lower body is really keeping us secure as the bell comes up in front of us. Great stuff. Finish up those reps, and we are going to take some rest now as I talk you through what we're going to do in our next superset. So we're going to take 2 exercises again. We're going to work the deadlift, okay, so we're going to slow things down a little bit. Work on our deadlift for 8 reps, and then we're going to do a split squat with the bell in the rack position this time. So We did split squat on the last session. You'll remember it was this movement where the heel is up at the back, but both legs are straight. We had a bell here and we were coming down and up. This time we're going to take the bell in the rack position on the right hand side, which means your left leg will be the one that's forward, and we'll be coming down and up for 5 reps of each one of those. So let's get ready for our deadlift. Grab 1 or 2 bells for this deadlift and bring it underneath you. This is our most practiced movement throughout these 3 sessions, so it should start to be feeling a little bit less awkward now. What we'll do is the bell's right underneath us. We're going to just do a few good mornings just to remind us of that nice deep hinge pattern that we want to create. So sending those hips back, pushing the floor away, and then we're going to reach down for our bell. Remember that cue I gave you where you could put a pair of socks under your armpits and those socks would never leave, okay? In the up phase and the down phase. It's a really good way of keeping nice and tight and in a good position throughout your deadlift. So just think about that while you're working through, and let's come down into position. So we're going to take a hinge, come down for the bell, rip that bell handle apart, squeeze those armpits back and down as if you're locking in those socks underneath you. Drop your hips, drive up for that first deadlift. Reverse the movement. Bell doesn't need to touch the floor, remember, so just come down to where your hips start stopping and then push the floor away to stand. Take a few more reps here. Up to 8 is great. If you're working with those double bells, well done. You will be feeling some extra challenge by adding in that second bell. Excellent. Let's put that bell down. Let's move into our split squats. So remember, we're going to try this in the rack position this time. So bring the bell up onto your right hand side. We're going to step forward with our left and we're going to do this together. So bell up into the rack. Find your stable stance, tall in the standing position. Feet are on our train tracks. Grab the bell with the other hand if you need to, and then drop and stand. This is a challenge because you've got the weight on one side and you're already quite off balance here. So it is meant to be quite hard. So do your best and drive up after each one. Take that last rep and then come to standing. Bring that bell down to the floor. We're going to take our deadlifts again and come back and do the other side. So just remember what side you've done. And we're going to take our deadlifts again now. So coming into position, reaching down for the bell, pressing the floor away. And now we can make these maybe, if the bell is quite light for you and you're really feeling comfortable, start to think about being explosive as you stand up. Okay, so really think about driving into the floor and coming up a little bit quicker. Squeezing the quads and the glutes at the top, pushing your feet into the floor with every single toe and the whole foot. Well done. Take your final 2 reps here, or however many you've got left, and then set the bell down and have a think about moving into this final little exercise of this set. That split squat, bell is going to be on our left, right foot is going to be leading. So let's get the bell into position on our left hand side. Right leg steps forward, left foot is back, and we're up on our heel at the back here. When you're ready, take your time and work through up to 5 reps in this split squat. Driving up, squeezing everything tall. Well done. We're nearly there. Final one. Bringing those feet back to 2 feet and always bringing the bell down safely. When you put the bell down on the floor, I always encourage you to come down with the bell, all right, not just drop it round your back. That's probably where most injuries happen. So picking up and putting down the weight is really important. That is something that you focus on and always concentrate with. So well done. We have got one more round. We are going to take, while you rest, I'll show you, we're going to take some single-sided squats. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring that press element into the single-sided squat. So you're going to take a bell onto the right-hand side in that rack position, Find your squat stance. I'll show you with a weight. So here we are. You're going to come down into the squat. As you're coming up out of the squat, seeing if you can press. Now, as you're coming down, see if you can also pop back into that squat again. Okay, so it's a continuous squat and a press is the challenge I want to set to you. Now, if that's too hard, you can isolate the movements. So you can come squat, stand, press, rack, squat. Okay, 5 times like that. But if you want to spice it up and try that more thruster style, then you can do. We're going to work 5 on the right. We're going to take some goblet marches for 10, hit the left, finish with those goblet marches, and we are done. So let's get ready. Let's get the bell assisted up to the rack. Find your squat stance, secure that bell, and hit that first squat. Now drive up, punch the sky with the bell. As it's coming down, see if you can come into that squat again and drive back up for that second rep. Brilliant. Keep going. See if you can hit 5. Keeping those knees really tracking over the toes all the time. Really being strong underneath the bell. Right, own this overhead position. Brilliant, well done. Bring the bell back to the floor and take a little recovery. All we're going to do for this goblet march is we're going to bring the bell up with the goblet clean and hold it as high as we can. We're going to take 10 marches with that bell held high. So when you're ready, let's get the bell up, find our feet underneath our hips and start that slow march. 10 reps. Trying to stay nice and tall. Posture is important. So if it's too much, bring the bell closer to you. If you can, lift it higher. Well done. Last couple here. And we'll bring the bell back down to the floor. We've just got to do the other side. We are nearly there. Well done. We're going to do that single-sided squat into the press on the left-hand side and finish with those goblet marches. So let's get the bell into position and go for this second round. So up it comes. Feet are in our squat stance. Remember, you can isolate as well. So squat, stand, press, and then squat again if you need to. Otherwise, let's go. Squat, drive it up. As the bell's coming down, see if you can go into the squat again and drive up again. Really good, well done. 5 reps. Finish this last one. Really strong. Own this overhead position again. Nice. Bell comes down to the floor. We're going to finish with these goblet marches and then we'll have a little cool down just to reflect on how everything's gone and calm our bodies. So let's finish with these goblet marches. 3, 2, 1, bell comes up. Feet underneath, take those 10 marches to finish. So well done on completing this session with me and getting to the end of this little mini series. I've really enjoyed helping you through these sessions and giving you just a little taste of what kettlebell training is like. There is a huge amount more to learn. So this has really just been a very fast introduction. Bring that weight down to the floor. You have picked up a huge amount of information in this mini series. So don't worry if you'll have missed some stuff and forgotten some stuff. You've covered a huge amount. So really big well done. We're going to finish with a little cool down. So clear your space, make sure it's nice and safe. Come down onto your knees and then find that downward dog again. You're just going to bring your head between your hands, pushing the heels down towards the ground and just finding that uncomfortable stretch, which you're just going to hold for a few more seconds here. Really stretching out the backs of our legs, hamstrings, calves. It's really good movement. You can pedal through the heels if you want to, if you want a little bit of movement in there. Come down onto your hands and knees, and then we're going to walk our hands through, bring our hips to the floor, lift our chest, and find this nice little cobra. Well done. Come back to your hands and knees, and we'll take a couple of little cat-cows. So you're going to lift your head up and arch your back, and then you're going to round your back, tuck your head down and look at your knees. We'll do that once more. Arch and lift, and then round the back. You're going to then sit back onto your legs, extend those arms away in front of you and rest your head on the ground. A few seconds here. And then we're going to tuck our toes under and make our way up to our feet, where we'll take our final little quad stretch to finish this session. So standing on one leg, hold on to something if you need to, and bring that nice little stretch to the front quad muscle there. Really good. We're going to take the same stretch on the other side, and you should feel really, really proud of completing these 3 sessions. They have not been easy, okay, from a skill perspective, and the challenge of the weight that you've been using, I'm sure, has challenged you also. So really big well done. Bring your feet down to the floor. We're going to take 3 big circles. Smiles are on, and loved having you with me on these sessions, and I will see you soon. My name's Wendy from Life Strong Bells, and I'll see you soon.